Hello, everyone. Welcome to Liberal Tarot. I'm Sherry, a blue dot in a red state, utilizing tarot to offer insight into these very complex political times we have here in the United States. So I'm really glad that you're here and welcome. The focus of today's reading is going to be, I guess, if you want to count the paratroopers as kind of like a part in there too. This is like part 2 or 3, however you want to look at that. So the reading that you guys got to see on Monday was about Minnesota. And there's been a whole bunch of news happen even since I recorded that, and even more news since I had recorded the paratrooper, standby, last week. So I'm going to kind of like pull these together in somewhat of a logical sense here, a progression. So I had recorded the paratroopers, because he's got the 1,500 paratroopers there on standby in Alaska. He's also posturing about Canada. So, you got these guys over here in Alaska on standby. And then Governor Walz has now since activated the National Guard. And if you guys have seen videos of them, the National Guard there in Minnesota, they were told to wear safety vests so that they could be easily identified as the helpers. And I've gotten that in previous readings before, that the National Guard would be used to protect. And I got that in conjunction with Oregon, but that is very true now for Minnesota as well. And then the reading that you saw on Monday was about just like what's going on there in Minnesota. And now I didn't get to asking about Governor Walz. And so I want to do that here for this. The other thing that's going to be a part of this reading is going to be the Republican governor pushback. The the Republican who was running for governor of Minnesota has now dropped out of the race. You have the governor of Oklahoma, bordering state of where I live, is saying, no, we don't do this. I paraphrase. And the reason I want to point that out is we're watching the institutions. Just as a reminder, and if you are a new viewer here, this is, I've given this visualization because it's kind of how my mind operates, and so I'm just giving you a glimpse into that. And if it helps you guys, that's great. So here we are. We are the resistance. We are holding the line for democracy. Okay, that is our lane. That is what we are to do. Then you've got the crazy ass shit coming out of, the White House. We can't do anything about that. It is what it is. And this is where where I suggest you guys be really aware of your energetic capital. How much are you allowing yourselves to go down that road of just infuriating insanity? And so whenever you feel, like for me, whenever I feel that, and you guys, when you start feeling that rage, I'm like, okay, I have to step away. I have to disengage. And then, so when you become enraged over here with this nonsense, disengage and start looking for the institutions. That is where a lot of my readings are going to live, is watching for the institutions. And now we've seen that with the Republican governor candidate dropping out, with a Republican governor pushing back. And so that's what I mean by we're watching these institutions. Now, you guys know I've had a really hard time reading on the chaos of the White House. I mean, it's chaos. It's like the 7 of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune put together in a card. Spin the wheel, whichever cup it happens to land on. That's what that's what Dawn's gonna talk about in that moment. It is what it is. I'm now seeing that the institutions are becoming chaotic. And what I mean by that is, especially in the Republican institutions and that pushback, they are bending towards democracy. That is what we need to watch for, because that bending, that is eventually going to break. When the first institution breaks, the rest of them are going to fall in line for democracy, and this comes to an end. And so it really is probably going to be Republican-led, because they're the ones that are in a position of power when it comes to Congress, and it'd be great for them to reclaim their power. Okay, now that's not to mean that we don't have power. The resistance absolutely has power, and specifically those of you that live in swing districts and swing states, those are the ones that you guys need to be calling, those local or those elected officials. 5 calls, I give a shout out to 5 calls all the time. They make it real easy for you to know who your representatives are, how to call. They even have scripts. Personally, I think that the scripts are way too nice, and I'm beyond nice at this point. So, but those of you that are in swing districts and swing states, don't underestimate your power, because that pushback is what's going to hold the little feet to the fire, for democracy. So that is your lane. And actually, all of us need to be calling our elected officials with that, and just reminding them that our Constitution starts with "we the people," and that's where their oath is, and that's where their loyalty is. So for this reading, I specifically want to look into Governor Walz, especially now that Trump is like, oh yeah, we've had this great conversation, and he's so excited that Tom Homan is going to be coming to the state. I'm sorry, but I seriously, I don't even need cards for that. That is not a tarot moment. That is not an intuitive moment. I already know that that is not what happened on that phone call. So I want to look into just base reading into Governor Walz and kind of like where things go now with this. So as always, this is for entertainment purposes only. As I pull you down here, I am going to do the little mini visualization that I have for peace and for the salt of protection against ice, literally the ice cube here, which it's almost melted. I'm going to go get another one here real quick. So while I'm doing this, and also I want to give a shout out to the viewer who pointed out there have actually been 3 deaths attributed to ice. Keith Porter Jr. was killed on New Year's Eve, and so I have added his name to this list as well. So as I pull you down, you guys choose your level of support, enjoy the visualization, and we will meet back up whenever I am done shuffling. Okay, so I light the incense to represent air, to carry our desires. I light a candle for fire, and may the memories of Keith Porter Jr., Renee Good, and Alex Petty fuel our rage and demand for change and justice. And I place ice on a mirror to reflect back to them their cruelty and to return to them what they send out into the world. And I add salt of the earth for protection against ice, and also to remember that that which may not seem to be solid is still held to account. Okay, so I just going to kind of leave that there, and we're going to come back here now together for looking at a base reading into Governor Walz. And so this reading is kind of building on that paratrooper energy and the reading that came out on Monday. So I'm kind of building on those 2 readings, but specifically now, Governor Walz, a base reading into him, especially now that Trump's, shitted out there on Trash Social. Oh, it was just a great meeting. Okay, and with that, the betrayal. Yeah, that's it was like I knew that there was not. I didn't even need cards to know that that Governor Walz was going to be like, that's not exactly what happened at all. The betrayal, and here's the truth. Let me offer you the evidence. Let me tell you the truth. So his truth and his evidence is what is crossing this as the challenge to what Trump has said. Just a bunch of lies and the betrayal of everything. Laying in rest. And now this is from Governor Walz's point of view. And so this is actually, it's laying in rest is what it is. So I'm wondering if this isn't him being like, just, get out, leave us in peace. That's the feeling I'm getting from this. Like, leave us in peace. Let us take care of our state. The foundation, the fiery message. I still think that this is that Jacob Fry. Oh my gosh. I am loving his messaging. the fighting, the arguing, and this is coming up in the past. So I think that this is, with these two cards here, I think that Governor Walz is going to be coming out saying, no, that is not what happened. That is not what happened on that phone call at all. And yeah, the rash action, let me tell you what actually happened. I know that, especially with this card, with these cards here, what I'm feeling is like, there may be a moment to try to tone down the rhetoric. However, you get this, and it's almost like I'm feeling like that, whatever, Trump shitted out, it was like meant to be a way to, well, I'm going to send Tom Homan, so if you do what he says, then all will be well. But there is no way Governor Walz is going to do that. And so here it's going to get ramped back up again. So let me just do some clarifying cards on this Knight of Swords. Okay, and the Knight of Swords, the evidence of what has happened. And this is also somebody who, I mean, it's the evidence of what has happened and that they're lying. This administration is lying. Oh my gosh, shocking. And then you guys, whenever I get these two cards together, really, it's like the 7 deadly sins, and then the fox is loose in the hen house, and everything that this administration is saying is a lie. So sending Tim Homan up there, or Tom Homan, it's going to create more chaos. It's under the guise of like creating peace. It's like that stupid board of corruption that Trump is creating, calling it the board of peace. That's not what it is. So no. Tom Homan is not there, is not the harbinger of peace like Trump was wanting to say. We have very different definitions of peace. It's just going to throw fuel on the fire. And this is, I mean, that's just all this is. It's nothing but a show and a bunch of lies. I mean, I'm sorry, you guys, I really wanted to give you like, oh, yes. Guys, I really wanted to be able to say, oh yeah, sending Tom Homan up there is it's gonna solve everything. But I think we all knew better than that. I mean, I can sugarcoat a lot of stuff, but I can't sugarcoat Tom Homan. So yeah, no, it's not gonna help. And so what will Governor Walz's response be? And then I'll start looking into like the National Guard with that. Okay, what is Governor Walz's, what is his reaction going to be to Tom Homan's bullshit that he's peddling up there? This is a burden. Get out. We can take care of this ourselves. The Temperance card is it's like appealing to your higher angels, which Tom Homan is not going to do. So this is like, really, leave us alone. Let us deal with this. We have it, and they do have their state under control. It's ICE that's causing the problems. And then you have the bully one, huh? He's going to have some pretty strong words there for Tom Homan of, get the fuck out. Yeah, a message that everybody wants to hear. A happy message. You go, Governor Walz, bringing this to an end and shine a light into the darkness. And I always say, this is all of us, with our dark night of the soul. You find that star of hope and you hold on to that while we you find your star of hope, and then we meet up here together in the star card. Do I even have that? I have a version of that card over here somewhere. Yeah, here we go. This is out of the Sacred Rose Tarot. So find your star of hope, and then we meet up here together with all of our little stars of hope for the resistance. I also see this as Lady Liberty. Okay, and so Lady Liberty, she has things to say. And then the card that actually came up was the Hermit card. And so with this, I think that this is, I'm almost feeling like Tom Homan's message is literally a message for one person. And then Tim Walz is just going to be like, get the fuck out. And I really see this as shining a light into just this dark message, being a harbinger of truth and light. That's what I see this card is like, even in the darkest moments, we still have some hope to look for, and that's what Governor Walz is going to be giving. Okay, so this idea with the National Guard, and I know you guys, if you haven't seen the videos, the National Guard was handing out like hot chocolate and donuts to the protesters. So I'm curious about if that's going to continue. It's one thing to be protecting the protesters, with donuts and hot chocolate. It's another to actually be protecting them against ICE. Are we going to see the National Guard literally protecting protesters against the illegal actions of ICE? Are we actually going to see the National Guard? And with that, the National Guard, the Tower card, yes. When I ask that question, and that's the first card that comes up, yeah, I think that's a resounding yes. We're going to be seeing that. This is ask the right questions, get the right answers, something that you can't see yet, but we're getting ready to see that. I'm almost with this feeling like this is almost akin to the Star card. Like as this starts breaking apart, we're going to start seeing that which has been hidden even more. And then we have stress, anxiety, worst nightmare, oaths of office. I swear that looks just like Donald. Ugh. A balance between two and restrictions. What I'm feeling with this is, the Tower card. I can't sugarcoat the Tower card. And so it's like, and I was asking, are we going to see that moment where the National Guard stands up against ICE and what they're doing to protesters? And the answer to that is yes. I think that this is going to be, they're going to have to come, there's going to be a moment where they have to choose whether or not they're going to obey the illegal orders of Don Old whenever he tries to federalize them, because that's that too here. There are choices to be made, and then I truly think that they do tell Donald no. Let me put more cards on that, just to make sure there. If you would just do what we say, the emotional messaging here of just do what we say, and Trump trying to be the strong man there, he's not. And it's a lot of messaging and bluster coming from him, but then he actually wants to, and he's drunk on power. So, you guys, and I don't have that card. Oh, I do have a Tower card here, though. Let me pull some of these up and just remind you guys of, I'm going to come back here to the base reading, and then I'll get to this stuff. Remember, between these cards, the Tower card lives. Okay, this is where we are. Between the energy coming in, the outcome card is we are in the Tower card. And so this makes all of this a little difficult to read. So, the best that I've got here is that Tom Homan's not going to help a situation. As I said, that wasn't even a Thoreau moment. And I get this feeling of, like I gave you a chance. I gave you an opportunity. Look at what we did for you. And yet you didn't even thank us. That's the messaging that I'm getting, that I'm feeling from the Trump administration. And I'll be perfectly honest. A lot of that has been my own personal experience with a narcissistic personality, which we've got there with Trump, and it's the never enough. How dare you not thank me? I did all of this for you, and what did you do for me? It's very transactional. And we see that with Trump. He's classic narcissist. So we see that, and I feel like we can't expect him to be anything other than what he is. And so they may have been able to, tone him down a bit, but come sundown, sundowners happens, the mania kicks in, and it all goes off the rails again. And so, I just see that Tom Homan is going up there to not be the harbinger of peace and goodwill by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, no, I don't think anybody thought that, but it's more of the setting things up to escalate things even more at that state level, because you've got the protesters and ICE who has escalated this, and the protesters who are holding that line. And then you've got the elected officials who are getting there. I mean, Keith Ellison and Jacob Frey, oh man, they are not messing around. And now Governor Walz, who has not wanted to make things worse, but has now activated the National Guard. And what was it this card is telling me? Yeah, things that we don't see yet is going to be uncovered, and in a big way, in a major way, and that just the stress and anxiety that's going to cause. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in Minnesota right now. This almost feels like the calm before the storm, and I don't really feel it being very calm. I see it more of setting this up so that they can justify what they're going to do next. Which, I mean, they're going to be using the courts to try to stop this and to get ICE out. I mean, that stupid letter that Pam Bondi wrote, oh my God. It's like, don't you know that they're going to use that in court, saying they're sending ICE so that they can get voter rolls? I mean, what? That doesn't even make sense. So, yeah, I think that it's really going to come down to there will be a court order. There will be orders, and we will have to see what the military and the National Guard do with that. Right now, will they? Let me just ask: if Trump tries to federalize them, will they? And with trying to be federalized, the evidence, be patient, going back and forth. In the lower energy, we say that in the Rider-Waite, it's got the 2 cups here. It's like there's his brain seeping out. And the military. These are actually, I'm feeling pretty positive cards about this. I think that there's going to be some, I'm going to do more cards on this just to get some more clarity, because I'm feeling like it's like the be patient card is like, that's not working for me, but I'm feeling like a more restrained response by the military. So no, they are not going to go in there guns a-blazing, the paratroopers. I'm like, what are they going to do? Like, jump out of airplanes to descend upon, the people there? I mean, we're not going to see that. Okay, so I want a little bit more clarity here on this, what is it, the Temperance card. Like, will they appeal to their higher angels? And also this, the law. Like, how are they applying the law? And I'm seeing this, more patience type, okay, and with that, this is the minor victory. It's like, Trump wants to go in guns a-blazing, and instead he gets, instead of this might, it's more like a whimper. And because of our country and our laws and our Constitution and we, the people. And this is a nightmare. And this is also a card of just anxiety. And so, yeah, the anxiety is very high right now. And it would be, I can't even, I want to do more on that 9 of Swords just to make sure here. And that 9 of Swords, yeah, all the lies and corruption. And I really do think that we are coming up on when I just am like, as soon as I put that down, I saw that High Priestess card that was just, I got in that previous round of things that are hidden are getting ready to come to light, and choices are needing to be made. 2 weeks. Whenever that card comes up, I'm like, 2 weeks. And quickly, decisions are being made about the corruption the Republicans are getting ready to walk away. And that's actually, that is leading me into my next question about this. And because they're seeing the truth, they're seeing if they ever want to be hold power again, they better stand up to this, and they better stand up to this. And this is Mad King Don. You guys really look at this card. I gotta be careful about that flame there. I forget I have an open flame. Okay, so in this card, this is the ocean, and there's the dolphin. My husband was like, there's the dolphin. I'm like, thanks for all the fish. And so, he's just being tossed about. And this is, I mean, literally, this is where we are. We are at the whims of literally whatever floats through his brain is where he's at in that moment. So whatever, little sweet nothings that, Stephen Millard has, whispered into his ear, that is what he goes with. Okay. And so I want more about, so this is showing that, yes, Republicans are going to start standing up when even just more of this corruption comes to light. Choices, they're going to have to be making a choice really quick. Are they going to choose, an authoritarian regime, or are they going to choose, democracy? And that's why it's so important for for everybody to be calling their elected officials, especially those of you in swing districts and swing states, both Republican and Democrat. And did you guys see the House Democrats, the surrender Democrats were like, oh, we're so sorry. Boo fucking who. I don't care. You could take those apologies and do whatever you would imagine with that. No. It's like you surrendered, and because you valued your seat and your position more than the oath of office that you took, which was to protect we the people and to the Constitution, and you caved. And so, yes, your apology means nothing. So, when are the Democrats going to learn? Don't give in. We're still waiting for them to learn that lesson. So let me see here. And I do want to mention that I did get that if there was a shutdown, it'd be like a small shutdown. Like it's not going to go on for weeks and weeks. And that Mike has now sent everybody home. So he's doing the exact same thing that he did before. Now it's on to the Senate. The Senate needs to do this, but. Just a reminder of, we might need to go back and watch Schoolhouse Rocks for I'm Just a Bill. If the Senate makes any changes, it goes back to the House and then they have to vote. So these surrendered Democrats will have a second chance to be able to redeem themselves and hopefully learn their lessons. So yeah, if you're in one of those districts with one of those surrendered Democrats, man, you light up their phones. Their little asses need to be lit up and with the rage of, everybody like, how dare you? You surrender there. So yeah, be making those calls. I want to look now into the Republicans, and specifically those I think we've already got governors pushing back. So let's see here. Republican pushback. Are we going to get, enough? Because what was it? Heather Cox Richardson had said that, like, for impeachment, it's going to take 23 Republicans, between the House and the Senate to do this. So, and are we getting closer to that? The Republican outrage. Okay, and the Republican outrage, they're looking at their options. I'm seeing this as as a balance. They're juggling a lot of things at once. I'm going to come back to that. I have thoughts about that card. And victory and the moon card. Okay, let me go ahead and put these others out just to see. Drunk on power, needing to cut through, make decisions, and the judgment card, and the emotional outburst of a toddler. Okay, so what I'm feeling with this, whenever the reason I was building it off this is I will always remember this card as the Eric Swalwell card of Republicans are ready to turn away from he's losing Republican support. This is the card that I wanted to talk about. I got really interesting feeling off this whenever I put this card out, which was Right now, there's a lot of outrage about a lot of different things. It's whenever they all come together on the same thing to be outraged about. That's when we're going to see that break. Because right now, you've got people that are upset about ICE. You've got people that are upset about the Epstein files. You have people upset. The Republicans all have like different things that they're upset about. So they haven't coalesced around one thing to be, pissed about. So that's why we haven't seen a lot of movement. We're getting there, though. We really are getting there. And when we can combine all of this into like one truth, I'm seeing these wings as like truth. And, the sun is setting, apparently, whenever the sun is setting, go to in that path, go to the light. And I was asking my husband, I was like, do you think anybody gets that reference? It's like, go to the light, Carol Ann, from Poltergeist. So anyway, that's why I say that. So go to the light there. And when they can all come together in one truth and that they realize they can all be outraged, but we're going to come together in a moment of truth about not the individual things that are happening, but the person causing the problems. That's when we get victory. Okay, that's when that happens. And the moon card, we have to wait and see. There are certain cards, and as I said, right now, the readings I'm doing are pretty much living in the Tower card. So I am like doing the very best I can. And so this is like personal will, free choice. Who knows? It's murky, but the truth will emerge. Okay, and as I said, in this deck, does it have? There is a little, it sort of looks like a little itty bitty tiny crawdad coming out of that, sort of. It may just be the coloring. Oh, she did everything on purpose, so it is very purposeful. So there's a little itty bitty crawdad coming out of there. It's kind of like right there, sort of. And so I seeing this as like when the truth comes out, when the truth emerges, then everybody comes together. Okay. And right now, it's like this regime is drunk on power. There is going to be a decision that they make, and it is a reckoning for all. And you notice like the wings on this and the wings here, the moment of truth. The horn of truth has sounded, and people wake up. So we're just literally waiting on that. Where is it? That one thing. One thing. And since my readings are living in the Tower card right now, it's like I don't know what it is. I mean, I'll be really honest. I don't know what it is. If I had to place my guesses on what it's going to be, it's going to be something with the military, something with a NATO country, and that is going to be the Insurrection Act may do it too. But that's my guess, is that the decision is going to be something about our military, and they're just like, we're not doing this. Okay. We're not doing that at all. So yeah, just a reminder, my readings right now are living in the Tower card, and you guys, I really am doing my best to get through this. It's some energy out there, I tell you what. And I appreciate those of you in the comments who have been saying that, like you're doing this work too. And yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's like, you don't know, you never know what you're going to wake up to. Let me see. Let me just do any final messages. Any final messages about Minnesota here? What do we need to know? I'll put you down here while I do this. And then we'll move on to our palette cleanser. Okay, and any final messages? A lot of disappointment, but hold on to the hope that this is coming to an end. Okay, remember, Libby reads this as the minor arcana death card, and I'm going to see that just in that black cloak here. So it's like not all is lost. Like yes, there's a lot of disappointment, but we still have a lot of hope. And hold on to those cups of hope, those stars of hope, and the fiery message. I really think that this is going to be the fiery message as a whole coming out of Minnesota. It started with Jacob Fry, started with Keith Ellison, and now Governor Walz is really getting to that point of, I had said earlier, he wanted to make sure that he wasn't making it worse. And with whatever it is that Tom Homan is going to do, he's the one who's going to make it worse. And that Tim Walz will respond with, it's almost like whatever chaos Tom Homan is trying to create, I see the equal but opposite energy. It's that law of physics. Whatever they do is, the equal and opposite energy is going to be presented there. And that's what this card is, the fight back. Okay. And then, yeah, and then the walk away. The Republicans walk away. So yeah, with this card coming up here in final messages, I'm going to say that final Republican break, I don't know that this is going to be the final thing, but boy, this is helping the cause. Okay. So with Minnesota, man, you guys, as I said, I'm living in, these readings are living in the Tower card, and I'm trying to what is the best possible outcome? And it's it has to do with the military. It has to do with, I really do think the National Guard will not, if they are federalized, I think that they will continue handing out donuts and hot cocoa. That's what I think. And to the protesters, I think that you may federalize us, but this is what we're going to do. And that Ace of Swords really felt strong. Like this is a decision that we are going to make. So I'll keep watching it. I do feel like calm before the storm. Tom Homan's not going to help the situation. I don't care what Trump's shit's out there. So I'll keep watching this. You guys hang in there, especially those of you in Minnesota. Just know that we are in solidarity with you, absolutely. And I'm going to now move into the palate cleanser. And you guys, I really think that this is self-care for me. I think that this is really kind of how I can do this work. I didn't realize that until I started doing those cards. And it's just a nice way for me to kind of to end it and leave this energy right here, because I can't be carrying it around with me out into the wild. So I'm going to bring you down here. And those of you who are ending the video here. Thank you for watching. Comment, share, like, subscribe, and hype. I really do appreciate it. And I will bring you guys down here. I do have a shout out, so I'm going to pause this real quick and get my cards. Okay, you guys notice that ice is already melted. And so if you want to do this at home, literally, it can be as simple as an ice cube with salt on it and say, just prayer for protection. And that's it. It can be as simple as that. And then I do have the longer one over at TikTok. I've got that on the post side of YouTube, if that's something that would interest you and you would like to go over to that. I know that I was seeing that it seemed like TikTok was kind of suppressing some of that stuff. So I really would appreciate it just opening it and clicking on it just for the view to help unsuppress that over there at TikTok. So the shout out that I have today is a super thanks for Espresso Moi. Showed her support of this channel, and I really do appreciate it. So here is going to be your card for today, and then I will also do a community card. So Espresso Moi. Okay, and with that, inner truth. Oh my God, you guys, inner truths. Let me put that card down here, and I'll zoom in so you guys can see that better. Okay, inner truths, and that's 16. There is a lot of depth to your feelings. You are on your way to understanding your feelings and desires more clearly. The next steps on your path will soon reveal themselves. Stay vigilant to new opportunities that may lead to the beginnings of novel projects or assist with current ventures. Look around you and within you. Be willing to do the work at the deepest level, as you will find jewels of wisdom, knowledge, and the inner voice all waiting patiently to assist you. Nature's crystals are created deep within the earth. Go deep and find your own treasures. Okay, and now a card for the community. Okay, and the card for the community is adventure. Oh my gosh, look at Okay. I'm going to put that right there. And adventure is number 30. Okay. This is an excellent time to take a short jaunt anywhere that inspires you. If you enjoy horseback riding or riding a bike, create the opportunity to do this. Just get outdoors and travel. It will help you break out of your routine. It may also expose you to a different outlook, a new opportunity, or an escapade. You are really going to feel so much better after taking a break. There's no feeling quite like having the wind blown through your hair or the sun on your back. And as a earth sign, a Virgo sign, that just made me, I just felt that in my soul. So, I love how, I've been loving how these cards have worked together, even though we have a personal card and then the community card of, finding those inner truths. And really, I have always found just getting out into nature, even if it's just, for a moment standing outside with the sun in your face or, standing under the light of the moon. It's like my husband will be like, where's Mom? Where's Sherry? And it's like, I'm outside looking at the moon. I'm so much a look up at the sky kind of person. And so, these two together is really being able to find your truth whenever you kind of get outside of the routine. So I really like those cards together. Beautiful cards. So thank you guys very much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Comment, share, like, subscribe, and hype. And I will catch you on the next reading. Have a wonderful day.